The amount of single guys that are out there are alarming. More and more guys are becoming single. A lot of guys are finding it really difficult to get into relationships, and they're becoming more isolated. And those guys who tend to be working from home tend to isolate themselves. So they're working in their apartment, they're working sometimes in offices by themselves, and they just getting into this cycle of being really isolated on their own and not having a lot of human interactions or connections. And this, I'm seeing a lot of guys that are becoming successful at their work, but they're becoming unsuccessful in their own internal world. And their life is suffering, their mental health is deteriorating, it's eroding away. It's because they're not having this vital part of all human beings is connection. And this is what they're not prioritizing. This is what they're ignoring and neglecting. And this is taking a toll. When these guys go out in the dating world, they tend to be less sophisticated in communication. So what happens is that they're quite clumsy at this, rusty at this. They don't always know how to really communicate with women. And not just women, but other people, because they spend so much time isolating themselves, watching YouTube, Netflix videos, getting lost into this world. This isolation is a grave danger for guys' mental health, but also the attractiveness. Guy who's very sociable, able to connect with people is super attractive. So guys, if you listen to this, we thrive, we grow in human connection, we heal in human connection, and we need this in order to better our mental health, our welfare, and to live a happier life. Connections can be challenging, of course, but they're also our growth machine. They also can teach us a lot. They can also call out our weaknesses. They can also support us, heal us. And this is an area that you cannot ignore. And the more you ignore this, the more you'll find yourself becoming in this vacuum of becoming more resentful, angry, bitter at the world. And you see everybody else, they're doing really well in their life, and you're thinking, why not me? And again, you might be really succeeding in work, you might be succeeding in your business. And a lot of guys I work with, they tend to be okay when it comes to their businesses, their work, their finances, their home, but they just lack that human connection. Their love life is suffering, their social life is suffering. What I noticed is that a lot of these guys didn't have the nurturing, didn't have the connection, didn't have the warmth in their upbringing. They were more or less kind of neglected. I know this too in my life as well. I grew up with an absent mom and an absent dad. They were really loving, they were really caring, but they were emotionally not available. They weren't emotionally there to bond and connect. And that had a huge impact in my life. That made me feel really, realizing now, going through some therapy, going through some coaching, that there was a lot of emotional neglect in my life. I mean, they provided and protected me. They gave me everything I wanted. But the part that they really struggled with was like that real deep connection, meaningful connection. And this is something that I had to work on, especially I've got two boys, two sons. And when I started to when I became a father, I didn't really know how to connect. And luckily the boy's mom, my ex-wife, she was really good at connecting. She really connected with the guys. And she really modeled that for me. I didn't know what it was like to really sit down, have some conversation, because a lot of the times there was a lot of shame, there was a lot of embarrassment, there was a lot of guilt, there was a lot of overthinking. I was really hyper vigilant about what am I saying? Am I saying it right? Am I saying it wrong? Will I look stupid? Am I going to be a fool? But over time, I realized that there was a lot of, in that vulnerability, in that connection, there was not only the connection and the bonding, but there was also a lot of healing. There was a lot of warmth in the heart. It made me feel seen. It made me feel alive. It made me feel connected. And this is what I'm seeing with a lot of guys. They're really missing this connection. They've never had this connection in their childhood. Maybe the dad was also absent and never really guided them. So what I recommend to guys is that they start to really connect with women on a friendship level, and also have some female therapists and coaches along with the masculine therapists and coaches as well. So the guys need both. Men's coaches will revolutionize men's lives. I mean, they have done that for me. I do that for a lot of the clients I work with. It's a must, because I didn't really have a father that was a role model male. He was also suffered from the nice guy syndrome. He also didn't have the guidance, the support, the connection of how to be a man, how to be a father. I mean, we don't get past these blueprints because no longer are the rite of passage where men pass on these guidance to other men. So we're really missing that in society. So men's coaching will really help with that. Also, not just with men's coaching, I believe that men need female nurturing and female connection, so they can be held, they can be supported, they can be nurtured by women, and be able to fill that space where the mother couldn't fill that space. Now, it's not, I'm saying that you become dependent on it, because having some great women in my life, having some great female coaches in my life, female guides in my life, female friends in my life, has been one of the most nourishing things in my life, because the feminine really nourish your soul. The masculine really protects and strengthens that soul. So it's like one of these big containers that really keeps you safe, and it brings in the structure that brings in the safety. The feminine has these incredible healing powers and this generosity of love and warmth that comes from the feminine nature, from a feminine woman. Okay, I'm not talking about a masculinized woman. I'm not talking about a woman who's got a lot of her own issues, but I'm talking about some great women out there who will absolutely see you, support you, love you. So when the guys are working with me, I always recommend them. They also have a woman in their life. Sometimes there's a female coach, sometimes there's a female therapist, sometimes there's some great female friends who really sees that guy, so he can really open up, be really vulnerable, let all his rawness out. And when he has these, say, professional spaces to do this, he's less likely to take all of that unseen need and desire and neediness on dates and his relationship. So he has a place and environment where he can strengthen with the guys, be vulnerable with the guys, share his problems with the guys, so he knows that he's not alone. And then he can also do that with the feminine, like a female life coach or something, or a therapist or something, that he's able to get that nurturing scene. So when he's in the relationship, he's not so thirsty from that and tries to suffocate her and suck all that energy out of her, all that nurturing energy out of her. Because sometimes a lot of women feel like when the guys are super vulnerable, super expose their vulnerabilities, that she just kind of locks up. There is some research done into this by Bernie Brown in her book, Daring Greatly, and she said that when women want the men to be extremely vulnerable, they want all that emotional guy. So when he does expose his rawness, his wounds, his fractures, when he's there, she's like, calls away. She's like, oh my God, this is too much. I can't handle it. It's disgusting. Women tend to feel disgust a lot more than guys do. So, and they'll also feel the pleasure a lot more than the guys do. So they really are exaggerated in these emotions. But when they see that disgust, when they see that vulnerability, when they see the rawness, it catches them off guard. And it's just an instinctual response of like, I'm not safe. This guy seems to be, can't handle himself. That's what's going on in the background. Now, is this true for all women? No, it's true for women who respond from an instinctual point of view. That's the instinctual response. Now, there are women who have done a lot of conscious work, who understands that this rawness is just an expression, she can dissociate with that. That's why you need some women who are friends, who are not binded in you emotionally, that can really hold that space without taking it personally, or without it meaning anything to her other than there's a guy who's just expressing himself. And the same thing with men as well. When she's being vulnerable, she's exposing herself, the guys can go, oh gosh, she's crazy, she's mad. And we got to discern between what the raw emotions are, and between a character. So we have to really work on having those distinctions and discernment between that. But here, when we're just showing our real raw side, it can be quite jarring. And when guys done a lot of work, and the woman's done a lot of work in recognizing and becoming more conscious of that, a whole human being, an integrated man, an integrated woman, will have the light and the dark. And those things will be exposed, those things will come out. And then they have the capacity, the resilience to be able to handle that. And also the individual who's expressing also takes full ownership of that. They can handle that too. They can manage that. They're not putting it on the other person to say, hey, you take responsibility. You got to fix me. They're not putting you in charge. You have complete agency and responsibility for you to work out your problems, your traumas, your fractures. That it's your responsibility, and agency is on you. And they are conscious enough to know that. But in the moment, they're just expressing that. And I think this is so missing in today's world. I have incredible women in my world. I have some incredible men in my life, and they are my support when things go difficult. They're my crutches. I lean on both of them. I need the nurturing from the feminine, the masculine from the men. I need those two energies because they really help me heal, support me, help me see things that I can't see things, and they help the process of being in a terrible place. It just helps the process of just moving forward from it. Otherwise, if you're on your own, you can just get into a spiral and just go deeper and deeper into overthinking, and this quicksand will sink you, suffocate you, and erode everything. Your whole life energy will erode in this. So gentlemen, make sure that you have great feminine support in your world, and you have great masculine support. The feminine will see things that the masculine can't, and the masculine will see things that the feminine can't. And together in unison, we have this wholeness. And this wholeness brings a lot of strength. It's like your hand. When you have a fist, togetherness is stronger than each of these, which can be easily manipulated. It can be easily destroyed. So unity is an incredible place for power, place for strength, place for healing, place for growth, place for creativity. And also together, there is a lot of laughter, fun, joy that can be had. And if you don't have these amazing people around you, you're missing out on so much richness in life. And I know guys like black and white, they just like simple things, but gentlemen, bring this color into your world, bring this richness, flavor into your world by bringing in some great men and women into your world, and then getting rid of all the toxic, the horrible people in your world. And I'm not just talking about people, but also people on social media, people on in your sphere. And also, if you're in a working environment, you really do have to take a double check on what are the people around me. Are they negative kind of thinking? Are they draining me, or are they uplifting me? So the more you can be around people that uplift you, and I know it's not always easy to change family, it's not always easy to change work, but what we can change, what we have agency over, work on that. So really hone in and focus on that. So guys, get seen, get connected, feel good, really build that strength by having some amazing men and amazing women around you. And if you're a guy and you're listening to this and you're struggling with this, but you're doing well in your work, you're doing well in your business, finances are great, everything else is great in your world, but apart from the love life, the social life, the connection life, you feel like your self-worth isn't there, your masculinity isn't there, you find yourself that I'm going out in the dating world, maybe you've gone after a breakup, or maybe going after a divorce, or maybe you've been single way too long, and then you need some help and support and some guidance, reach out to me, book a call with me, because I'll go through some of the things that are really holding back. There are 5 fractures that hold men back. When these fractures are at stage red, so that black is the highest one. This is, if you're at that level, then I recommend that you go and see some psychologists, therapists to really work on this. Guys who are on the red stage, I've worked with the guys in the red stage, and we get down to amber, and the ideal place is to be at the blue stage, which is like your world is at a tipping point of it's more good than bad. No one ever has a world which is perfect. No one ever has a world that every part of their life is in order. It comes in waves. What happens is when it comes in waves, that men who really do this work, heal the fractures, work on the fractures, will get knocked off and they'll come back in. And when we have the support around us, the structure around us, the insights of where to work on, heal on, they become really powerful. And then you regain your mental health, your happiness, your joy, opportunities start to, spring from all directions. I've been in a very dark place in my life, very, very dark place in my life. And there was a point in my life that I was like, what's the point of living? And it happened after my divorce. I found a lot of stuff about myself I didn't like. There was a lot of darkness in my world. I'm thankful that I didn't take the route like a lot of unfortunate men do. I'm thankful that I got through that, and I'm really thankful for the men who showed up in my life, and I'm really thankful for the women who showed up in my life. I'm thankful for my family, my sister especially, who has been an incredible rock in my life. She's helped me to see things in my life that I wasn't seeing. I was resisting. I was being an asshole about. She also made me see the things that where other people were an asshole about or her about. So brought in a real massive balance and nurturing and caring and generosity of love, energy, and humor, and my kids and my extended family as well. They've just been incredible. My friends and the men, and even my clients, they've just been an incredible source of goodness in my life. So gentlemen, do not let this goodness escape you, be absent in your life. And if you need some support, please do reach out to me. And I'm here to support guys who are going through some challenging times, trying to get their love life sorted out, trying to get their masculinity and their self-worth. Okay, stay charismatic. See you soon.